Okie dokie, let's start. First of all, thank you very much for attending this webinar where we will talk today about some uh, connection of the apartment building or family house with fiber. And let me first introduce myself. My name is Pavel Schuster, and I working for company PLP, especially branch called Mikos, which is part of the big group PLP. And what we do, we focus on research and development and production of the product use in telecommunications, especially different type of housings like wall boxes, street cabinets, dome closures, and so on. I'm working on a position senior sales manager for more than 17 years, and I had a great opportunity to travel all around the world. So in that time, I had a chance to take many different pictures and see many different optical networks, starting from Vietnam, whole Europe, South America. So I have some kind of experience, and I could see a different type of networks in the field on my own eyes, and I would like to speak about that. And before I really start, I would like to draw your attention for informations which you can find on our LinkedIn profile as well as on YouTube channel. And of course, this webinar will be recorded, and after webinar in no more than 48 hours, you will receive a link for this webinar, so you can have a look again and listen again, or you can resend it to your colleagues or let's say partners. Okay. So the webinar you saw it. The name is how FTTH runs from access point to the home. Uh, I'll speak only about the passive elements. So I will not speak about any active which you can have in inside the house or in central office. I will basically speak only about the passive and especially different type of housing. Before I really start the presentation, let's go through some terminology so we all understand uh, what we will talk about. Okay, so we shall know that when you're connecting home unit, you either can have a really connected home unit. It means the fiber is all the way to the home unit, or you can have a household pass. Household pass mean that usually, in most of the cases, the fiber ends in access point, and the customer is connected after he really asks for service. What is difference from my view? If I would be a customer, I would like to have always fiber inside my house because, of course, property of the value of the property is getting high when you are also connected on fiber. Another terminology, we talk about the network. Basic topology is we have a three basic different type of topology. There is more than three, but I will mention only three. One of them is point to point. Basically, point to point means that you have a one fiber going from central office all the way to the house. So there is no any splitting, any crossing or anything like that. Second one is PON network. In our region is more popular GPON, where we use different type of splitters, PLC splitters, planar splitters, and this one is used for but basically the cable is shared among multiple customers. It means you go with the one cable, but then you can split it and by using optical splitter, and of course you reduce the number of fibers, so the network is a little bit more cost effective when you are building it. You can see here that this is the PON. It means you have a one splitting here, another one here. The splitting ratio can be different. It depends how the designer will calculate it. And point to point is, as I said, from central office all the way to the houses, all the way to the factories or apartment buildings. If we will talk about the physical layout, we can have an aerial network. It means all the network is guided through the poles, or mostly existing poles. Then we have an overground. If we talk about overground, we can use different type of street cabinets, for example, or wall boxes or facade. And then we have an underground or buried, which is this network. It means everything is under the ground. Uh, if I go back to the aerial I saw mostly in Sweden or very heavily in USA because they have these existing electrical poles and they use them for fiber optic as well. Overground is used more, for example, in Macedonia or in Slovakia. Also, I saw combination in Germany. Underground buried network, very popular, for example, in UK, where they have BT has existing manholes, and they're using these lines to connect also customers with the fiber. And of course, the combination. Usually, it's combination because you cannot go all the way, for example, under the ground. Sometimes you need to go above the ground or even aerial especially in rural areas. All right, and if we talk about the location of the let's say housing, we have basically three basic terminologies, and it's FDH, which means fiber distribution hub. So it can be, for example, this street cabinet, or it can be also underground closure. It means, as you can see, this is a passive component that serves as central distribution point for the fiber optic cables in a FTTH network. Second one is ODP, which means optical distribution point. This is passive component that serve a connection point between the main distribution cable and the drop cables. It can be, for example, this wall box, which is mounted somewhere in a basement. You go with the outdoor cable inside, and from here you have a drop cables going to the either floors or directly to the apartment. And the last one is FTP, fiber termination point, which is uh, basically we call it outlet. It can be this little box over here, which has a capacity, for example, 2 connectors, and you bring the 2 or 4 fibers to each apartment. So this we call FTP. All right, so it was a little bit of the terminology. And now let's start to be really focus on different type of housing or access points we have available nowadays on market. I will try to always show some professional pictures, explain how it works and what we have the experience with. And then I'll show you some real photos from installations so you have an idea how it look like when is it on streets. All right, so we will start with the overground installation. As I said, overground installation can be done with the street cabinets, but as well as with the wall boxes, for example, or some kind of facade solution. Basically, nowadays there is on market many different type of street cabinets. What we notice, there is no more concrete basement. Basically, it is too difficult to work with the concrete basements because you have to dig the hole and you have to make the concrete, and then you have to mount the cabinet on it. So nowadays, most of the cabinets having underground basement, which is, for example, made in this case, it's made of recycled plastic bottles. And you first install this basement, and then you come with the cabinet and install the cabinet. If you want to see some video of the real installation, you may have a look on our YouTube channel where you can see the installer who do the job and install these cabinets in the trench. So back to the cabinets, you see there is a many different types. Some countries they prefer metal cabinet because they are afraid of vandalism, but in some countries they go with engineer plastic. I don't want to say the type of material, but it can be a glass fiber or reinforced polyester and so on. And also the equipment is always different. It's a shame that at least in Europe Union we don't have some kind of common installation or common products. Every country, as I said, has a different type of topology and different type of housings. Most of the countries here in Europe use micro ducts. So you can see them here on the pictures, where they blow the cable inside and then they connect them. The benefit of the microduct is that the cable is perfectly protected, and during the installation you can always add more empty microducts and then rent the space in them to the different operators. Yes, you can see here the capacity of these pillars can be really wide. It can start from the even four connections all the way to the thousands, and this point can be FDH or ODP. It means it can be a distribution hub, but for example, in Slovakia, we have a case where they have a many apartment buildings in large cities, and they install the cabinet in front of them, maybe in front of the three or five of them, and they go with a little micro ducts with diameter 5 millimeters all the way to the floors of the apartment buildings, and from the floors they connect the customers after they ask for service. And it is quite smart because not every owner of the building let you go inside the building anytime. So give you example, if you have a troubleshooting or if you have a customer who doesn't pay, you can even switch him off electronically, but you can also do it manually, where they go in front of the apartment buildings and they just simply unplug the customer or the group of customers or whatever. So that's the benefit of this cabinet. uh, One story from South Africa. We came with this product on the very left side to South Africa, to Johannesburg, and we asked them to use it in a network for pilot project, and they said no chance to use plastic product in South Africa because of the vandalism. But later on, they make one or two pilots, and they become our customer for it because they like it so much. The biggest benefit is the light, the weight. So one person could install this pillar with because it's only, I don't know, 2 meters long and it's quite light. And yeah, that was successful story with this type of pillars. uh they are using that, of course, in gated areas. Okay, so as I promised, those are the pictures, professional ones, and let's go to the field. Sorry, I'll start with the picture over here. You can actually see that the smallest pillar we have available, and you can see this is installation done in Germany in area where there are family houses and villas. And in Germany, they had 5 years ago different way how to build a network. They basically ask first the owners of the houses if they want to have a fiber, and if they agree all of them in the street, then they lie the fiber and they share the cost together. So this picture and this picture are the cabinet I talk about. You can see no concrete basement. You can go directly with the cable or with the ducts inside, and then you do the installation later. Pictures are here on the left side and here on the right side are pictures where we had a customer, he want to have a larger capacity, so we designed for them, we call it twins. So you have a two cabinets built in one, and you can see here this is GPON network. So you have a GLX module PLC splitter here, and you connect the customer through here. There are some spare parking lots available for unused connections. And those two pictures, they are taken actually on my street next to my house, and they use public lighting. So this is public light, and they put a little let's say ODP, optical distribution point, in a lack of lightning, public lightning. So this is how it look like when it's in detail. So the box had to be very slim to be possible to fit inside. and you can see the cable. So this is underground solution, but they are using public lighting for connection of the houses. All right then, and then we go underground solution. It means buried. Forget to mention, would you have any questions? You can use the chat in the end of the presentation. I'll try to reply as much as possible. Okay, so underground installation. Of course, the most known and most common product for underground installation are the dome closures. And nowadays there is on the market many type of dome closures, and usually they are placed in manholes. Again, there is many different type of manholes. Depends on the location where you want to place them. If on the pedestal, pavement, or in roads, or in parking lots, or in green area next to the house. And those closures needs to be, of course, IP68. So it means it must resist water and dust. There is plenty of them on market, different type of structure. You can see here we have with a large hinge trays where you can, for example, put 72 trays in one tray, 72 splices in one tray. Then you have this kind of hinged system, and then you have a standard flat trays. So there is many different options. What I would draw attention is always make sure it's a good high quality closure with a good sealing system, because I saw so many closures full of waters, and actually our company was involved in many of reinstallation of the let's say cost effective closures from Asia, which they didn't resist any water. And except the standard closures, which you can see on my slide, we have also a different type of closure, which are, for example, inline. So you can go through with the cable and you can do branching, and also drops directly to the customer. We have systems which can be hanged also on the pole, or and use the underground cable, as well as the mini closures. For example, this mini closure is able to do 24 splices, or up to 8 connectors. Again, they're using special sealing systems, so this all needs to be IP68 rated, and this all is used under the ground. Okay, so let's go to the field. Yes, you have some picture. You can see here some of the manholes I mentioned are made of concrete, but some of them are also plastic, made of plastic material. And you can see those manholes are usually not IP68 rated, so the water can go anytime inside. That's why the closure or dome closure needs to be IP68 rated. And there is always important, leave the slug inside the closure for one simple reason. When you want to do the reinstallation or adding the customers or whatever, you pull out the closure, you have at least 10 meters here, and you go with the closure inside the installation car, and you can do the job inside, where it's sometimes warm and dry, so there is no rain, no frost. Yeah, so those two pictures, you can see the standard dome closures, and over here you have a special closures. For example, this closure, a little one, it's maybe only 20 centimeters high. It's able to connect and splice up to 48 customers. So from these closures, little one, you can do, for example, 12 drops directly to the houses. So now basically what's going on is that the manholes getting overcrowded, the existing manholes getting overcrowded. So some of the countries, like for example, like France, they have limitations of the size of the closures and drop distribution points. So for example, they will tell you you may use it for such a amount, but it cannot be more than 2 liters. Yeah, so that's France. These manholes are very popular in UK. They have them all over the all the cities and villages, and they are using existing lines. So you can see they have also special holders in UK. They call it Mobra holder, where they actually mount the closure, and it's on hinge, so you can pull it up, and it's still on in fixed in a Mobra holder, and you can open it and do the job without removing it from the manhole. And this is how it look like when is it in green area. So I would talk more about manholes, about the maximum load, but this is not the subject of this presentation. All right, let's go to the aerial. Aerial, especially now, is big issue because we are trying to go to the rural areas, and to go in rural areas are very expensive if you need to dig, if you do the installation network, if you do the underground network. And that's why they are using existing poles, because most of the let's say villages having existing poles, and the aerial solution is the best way. For example, very popular in Poland. And I'm talking now about the poles. Later on, I will talk about the facade, where they mount the cable directly on the wall of the houses on the facade. So if I talk about distribution points, aerial, you have three options how to connect the from access point, how to connect the house. You of course can do it. You do it with a cable, but you can do it aerial. It means from the pole directly on the facade on the house, somewhere 3 meters high. Connect the cable, drill the hole, and go inside the building, or end it in FTP in a small box, outdoor box. But you can do it three different way, and I had on mind either only splicing. It means you come with the cable, make a loop or mid span, and continue to the next pole, and you just make a drops here, maybe 12 drops, and you connect 12 houses. And you do only splicing. It means one installation group do everything. This installation group is very professional, and they know how to splice and do everything. Second option is here on the right side, where you need to have a nicely arranged where is what customer. So you use, we call it a special drop tray, which has a 6 compartment, and each compartment you have as 2 customers. It means maximum capacity of this access point is 12 customers or 12 cables. And again, here you need to have a professional installer who come from the beginning to the end and do the connection of the client all by himself. But in the beginning, we said there is a home pass and connected. So if it's connected, then it's clear. Every single house will be connected. But if it's home pass and it's ready, and actually the access point is waiting for customers, he will say, "Hey, I want your service. I want to watch TV through your fiber." Then second installation group is coming. And here we have a problem not only here in Europe, but in USA and as well as in South America. Second installation group is less technically educated, and sometimes they don't have a splicer and so on. So there is many different type of boxes where you have a 2 compartment. One compartment is for the professional group. It means the professional group is coming, bringing the cable, making the slug, mid spam, going out, continue to the next pole. Then they take, for example, if this cable is 96, they take here 12 fibers. They splice it on pigtails and click it inside the adapter. And now it's time for second group. It means customer say, I want your service. They are sending second group, which is less technically educated, and they don't have a splicer. So they just come with a drop cable, deflorate the grommet, make a little slug, and oops, and connect the customer. That's it. So this is the way how nowadays, and this is the most popular way how nowadays the home pass are connected with these type of application, because it's quite well designed, and in the real field the installation is very fast. Of course, the every this aerial box should have some slack again, so that's why we use different type of reels. I'll speak about them later. These 3 boxes are basically the one box, only the management is different, and this is kind of cost-effective solution. Is very neat and nice box, very popular nowadays. But in some regions, for example, which are close to the sea, or if there are tough environmental conditions, for example, snowstorms in Scandinavia, then there is a second group of also aerial boxes. And in this case, here we have IP54, here we have IP68, and in this case the box is more robust, is more resistant to the water and dust, and you may use them as well. They have a special grommet system, so it's available for different type of grommets. Before I leave these nice photos and go to the real installation, Slack, we have this cable holder which is suitable for any type of aerial box you mount on the pole. And just for your interest, in the inside reel we can put 90 meters, it means 90 meters of drop cables of diameter 5 mm, and for the outside I can do ADSS cable, for example 25 meters of slack. This is very beneficial because again, if you work, sometimes you need to put the box down and do the installation inside the car, so this allowed you to have the slack there and go down. Okay, as I promised, let's go to the field and a few pictures from the field. I start with the middle one. This is the way how maybe 5 years ago they were using aerial network. Nowadays they find out there is no need to have IP68 closure. So that's why they came with these standard aerial boxes which are placed on the pole. And but still this solution is taken in USA. The picture was taken in USA. It's still applicable, and but it's quite expensive. It's not cost effective. Yeah, here you can see some pictures from the installation, always with a nice slack reel and boxes. You can see the drop cables and everything. Sometimes they do the pole installation going from the ground to the pole and install it, same as going from the aerial network down, do the installation and continue to under the ground to connect the house. Because not in every location is possible to connect the villa, nice villa, with the cable. Yeah, sometimes you need to go really under the ground. Now, for example, in Germany, there is coming fashion where they end the network on the border of the property. It means by the fence or in the garden, and they stop the fiber over there, and the rest of the installation from the fence to the house is in hands of owner of the property. Yes, so see four different type of applications. And if I go to the field to explain you a little bit more, here are some pictures from, I think those were taken in Slovakia, where you see that they go with aerial cable, go inside the box, make a slack and mid span, and continue back to the pole and continue to the next pole. And here I have a drop cables going under the ground. So this is possible solution how you could use combine aerial and underground installation. This is the detail of the box. You can see here cable going here inside, make a mid span, continue back to the pole, and some drops going down. It can go also to the drops going up, like in this case you can see here, and from there you go directly to the facade of the house. Here you can see some complex picture to understand. Okay, so let's go to the FTP. It means fiber termination point, but the one which go under the ground. As I said, in the cities, it's very difficult to allow anything on the facade or on the poles, because the poles doesn't exist anymore and they are under the ground. Of course, there are exceptions. For example, termination of fiber network in Spain or in Belgium is only on facade, on the houses. But let's talk about this nice clean solution where you even buried the access point or termination point. Sorry, termination point. As I said, there is not too many IP68 boxes on the market. Why I'm mentioning 68? Because again, this one go under the ground, so it must be IP68. We have you can see here different types, and it can be from 2 to 8 connectors. We have also the ones which are kind of versatile, so you can use them on the wall as well as under the ground. Benefit of this closure is that you can directly bury them, or you can put them in a small chamber. In UK, I think they call it Toby box. in Germany, mini manhole. So terminology is again different. Let's go to the field. Yes, here you can see how it's look like. Of course, this one is not buried, but this can be a mini manhole, or let's say a Toby box, where it doesn't have any load, so you cannot go with the car through it, so you cannot put it on a road or inside the parking lot. You can always put it in a green area or in the garden, and this is how the closure is connected. So yes, this buried fiber termination point is very popular, and for example, is used in again in UK, where they have it under the ground in pavements. Okay, let's jump to the facade. Facade, as I said, Spain or some countries in South America, as well as the Belgium, is the most popular installation. Uh, we have a one product which is, I would say, our bestseller, but it's not really for facade installation, like talking about the cable going through and not access point. This is the basically fiber termination point. This box has only IP54, 55. It has a, optional lock, and basically from here you can connect the customer. You can use it only one fiber, and the rest of the fibers can leave for different operator, as it is compulsory in some of the European countries. And later on, I'll show you the picture from the field. Second option, how to connect the apartments or houses are so-called outdoor connectors, or IP68, 67 rated connectors. This solution is extremely popular in Spain. Basically, whole installation in Spain is done through these outdoor connectors. There was a license, or it was protected by Corning, now anymore. So there is plenty other companies who are having these type of installations, and it is very expensive product, but you save a lot of money for the installers, because basically they just come with the cable which has two connectors on both sides, and you just click it on one side, place somewhere slack the extra length of the cable, and they click it on other side. So expensive product, but then very much cost effective installation. One more product which is quite popular, and I'll talk about Belgium and also some of the Middle East countries, is inline facade box using outdoor razor cable. Everybody know the razor cable. It's basically cable where there are loose fibers, and you can window cut. You can make a window cut in any place and just pull out the cable from the cable because it's loose there. For this solution, we have a very nice YouTube video, and it's if you click on it later on when we send you the link for this, you can have a look on nice video how to install it. Basically, you come from underground network to the street, or from the aerial, doesn't matter, and you use standard cable or duct or whatever, and then you continue on the facade with the razor cable. And benefit of this solution is that you mount the cable first with no boxes, nothing like that. You just mount the cable from one side of the street to another side of the street on the facade. And when the customer asks for service, you come, you make a window cut, and this box has an openable grommet. So just push the box under the cable, close the grommets, make a window cut, and make a drops and connect the customer. So benefit is, again, you don't need to do any boxes after customer asks for service. Some pictures from the field. This is the ORM5. I said this is the picture on the facade, optional lock. You can see they come with the duct using the gas block, pigtail, and they have a 1, 2, 3, 4 possible drops here. This is the installation with the outdoor connectors. This one was taken in Valencia. So this picture is taken in Germany. This one is taken in Valencia, both of them. And you can see how they use the outdoor connectors in this case. And this one is, and I would say Oman, or yeah, probably Oman. Yeah. So this is the installation, as we said, of the facade box Uh, during the pilot installation for large incumbent. And yes, so let's go to the inside the building. There is also a possibility, of course, that you reach the fiber to the big apartment building. It can be 12, 24, 80, 100 apartments inside. And now you need to do some guiding of the cable to the apartments. We call this indoor installation multi-dwelling unit, MDU. And basically here on this graph, you can see that we have some basement box. So I come with the cable inside the basement. I do the basement box, and then you continue on floors or on every second floor, every third floor, it doesn't matter. And then from there, you feed the apartments. So basically, this is the basement box. This is possible floor box. And this one is the mini telecommunication outlet, and you can use any type of cables. You can use special cables which are flat. You can use invisible cable, you can use razor cable, you can use 5 millimeter ducts, which is very popular in Sweden, for example. So there is many possibilities, and those products which I will display are basically ready for any type of cable and any type of installation. So these boxes you can see here are for the real 100% multi-dwelling unit. It means indoor boxes, fireproof with V0 norm, and very versatile. So you can use it for only splicing, you can use it for PLC splitter, you can use it for drops via connectors, you can use it with pre-terminated cables, and many more options. And here you can see how it actually look like inside the apartment building. So we set basement box. On the first floor, you can still have the same box, but you can swap it to different size. And basically, if I talk about the capacities, I can fit here 48 LC connectors or 96 or 72 splices. For the second box, I can do the half capacity, it means 24, and here I can do 12. So 12, 24, 48 in case of connectors, and then splices 12, 24, 48 or 72. Yeah, and here you can see actually how it look like inside the building. So those are independent floors. So first you have a basement where you connect the outdoor cable or duct, micro duct with indoor cable. Then you have a floors where you can have a different type of boxes, and you do the distribution from the each floor to the different type of apartment. I don't know, most common here in Europe, I would say it's 4 apartment in one in on one floor, but it can be 8, it can be 12, it can be even more, it can be only 2. So it depends what box you use. And of course, inside the apartment, you go with the little outlet. Again, benefit, if you have this outlet inside your apartment, inside your house, the property value go up. So we recommend always this, but it's a hand of operator. Let's see some pictures from the installations. Here we have the this one is the middle size 12, and this one is taken in my neighbor garage. Here I have a picture from the basement box. So basically you drill the hole through from outside, come in this case with a micro duct, you put the gas blocks, and then you continue the job and do the distribution. You splicing on indoor cable, and you go in the floors or in the apartment. And this one is installation with sorry for the quality of the pictures, but that's how it is mostly. This is the installation of razor cable. So here you have a nice window cut, and you just pull out the cable you need and continue to the next floor. Okay, and I'm going now to the last floor. Oh, sorry, indoor termination point (FTP). We already talked about that. There is many type of on the market, but in our case, we have kind of versatile solution where you can, with through these windows, you can come with pre-terminated cable and just click here. You can come here with 5 millimeter duct. You can have it for duplex or simplex, so it means 2 times SC or 4 times LC. Then we have a more of these shapes, modern shape, very popular in Scandinavia. You know, Scandinavian IKEA is about the design. So this one is quite popular. And in Germany, they like everything pre-terminated, pre-done, because the installation is very expensive there. So we are doing also pizza boxes. We call it pizza box, where you have basically a cable already with a pre-terminated box and a slug of cable, and they just go from the floor directly to the apartment. You can have a connectors on both sides, or you can splice it on one side. Pictures from the field. Picture from the field are here. You can see the mini box here, mounted in the floor, and some installation here. For example, in Denmark, no Denmark, Netherlands. In Netherlands, in Holland, they have a one common box, and they put all the installation in that common box. So fiber optic, you see here data, and you can have a electric switch there and everything. So as small box as possible. Here you can see some detail of the installation. So here flat cable inside, make a slug, and is not splice. You see the end of the cable here, and here is the position for the splice. Okay, this was I see that it's already 10:41. I supposed to finish, but not yet. Give me some more chances. Now it's going to be more fun. As I said, I was traveling around the world, and I saw so many weird installation. So let's see some of the pictures from my travel. First one is taken in Balkan, and as you can see, the installation of the cable is perfect. Only the slug is fixed here with a tape. I hope it's only temporary because they are waiting for the cross. So this one is from Balkan countries. Here, this is one of my first picture taken maybe 15 years ago, my first trip to Romania. And you can see here, probably they had a lack of closures because they are using Coca-Cola bottles for splicing of the fibers. I had a talk with one of the installer, and they said that they use basically a paper cardboard. They make a slug of the fiber, do the splice inside everything, put the cable, and they use standard sticky tape. And only problem was that they had a brown sticky tape and a black sticky tape, and this black one was sweet, so birds were eating that, so they had to swap the brown one. I believe you won't find this one anymore in Romania nowadays, but as I said, 15 years ago, I took this picture where you can see Coca-Cola bottles. During my travel in Vietnam, you see here, nice installation. They're using everything what is possible, mostly trees. So in this tree, you can see how many closures we have here. Sometimes they put it on down on the floor. Sometimes they hang it. Yeah. So this picture was taken in Vietnam, and it's very interesting. Also, the traffic is very interesting over there. And the last picture of mine is. Was taken in Baltic, one of the Baltic states. I don't want to name it because all those guys are my friends, and let's say Baltic state. And you can see that during the winter installation is quite difficult to do installation of the cable. And basically, if you don't have a professional, educated installers, it can end up like this: wrong fixation of the ducts. Missing cover, and so and so and so, no locking the doors. So this is the picture taken in Baltic state. All right, I have two more slides to go. I hope nobody is sleeping, but I would like to speak. First of all, I would like to thank you for your attention and attending this webinar. On the picture, you can see that's basically me. I'm always confused with all the fibers. And you want to see more, visit those two links. One of them is, as I already said, the YouTube channel, where you can see all the different type of installation videos, kind of tips how to install, also presentation videos. Some of the old webinars in English, they are there, so please go and visit. And would you like to have a kind of personal discussion or anything you need, you can contact me. directly, I will remind you. My name is Pavel Schuster. The email you can see on the screen, as well as my LinkedIn profile. So, would you have any questions? Don't hesitate to write. And if not, it was my pleasure to have this webinar or this presentation. It was after a long time, and I would be pleased if you send me any message or if you contact me for any needs or any questions you may have. And also, please follow me on LinkedIn. Sometimes I place some serious stuff, and sometimes I place over there some funny stuff. So I would be pleased to have you there. And once more, thank you very much for your attention.